Hello, my name is James Nicolau, and I am doing the Comprehension lesson plan recording for ENGED 275. So I'll be reading over the template. So the grade level is kindergarten. A date and time of the lesson is to be determined. The content area is comprehension. The unit of study is word recognition, fluency, and comprehension. And then the lesson title is comprehension, analysis, and review. So the overview of the lesson is students will be working on their comprehension skills of literary text. Both their old book of Cat in the Hat is a review and analysis of the book. Students will be grouped on ability level and need to provide an analytical summary of the plot and characters of their book. The teacher will read the first 6 pages to the class, and then it will be split up into small groups to finish the book. There will be an exit ticket at the end of the character recognition/recall. So the content standard that this meets is CCSS, ELA Literacy, RFK4, read emergent reader text with purpose and understanding. So the daily learning objective is by the end of the lesson, students will be able to correctly identify and summarize the plot and naming all 6 characters within the story. So, for assessment and learning, the informal assessment will be at the end of the lesson. Students will be given an informal exit ticket that will ask them to choose the 6 character name from a name bank, like a word bank with names, and then they will need to either circle, underline, or highlight the correct names. They may also cross out all the incorrect names if they want to do that instead. No formal assessments and no modifications for the assessment provided. So differentiation and applying universal supports. So for students above grade level, they will also need to create 2 sentences that describe parts of the plot. What are 2 things that happen in the story? So they can do it that way, being the prompt. This adds an additional level of comprehension above just the character recognition and recall, yet not modifying this assignment too drastically. Students below grade level will only need to identify 3 of the characters in the story, and then they will be given a name bank with half the incorrect names crossed out already, so it creates an easier assignment without major modification. So the procedure and timeline for the lesson. Launch and hook. I'll have a picture of the book on the whiteboard or with the smartboard at the start of class. So good morning, my wonderful kindergartners. How are we doing today? Please come and sit in front of the whiteboard together. Earlier this week, we talked about how when we read things, it's important to both understand and remember what the reading was about, right? We want to be able to tell other people what we read about because they may want to read it too, or maybe they have questions about the book and you could help them. Today we're going to read one of my favorite books, and maybe some of you already heard of it. The book is titled Cat in the Hat. Has anyone heard of the book before? Please raise your hand if you have. I'll give them a couple seconds to raise their hands, and then I'll call on 2 of them. Have you read this book before? If they say yes, ask them what they thought of the book, and no, then move on to the next student. It's great to see some of us have read this book already. Maybe we can help our friends with the book if we've read the book already. Let's get started. Alright everyone, now that we have introduced the book, let's get reading. I will read the first 6 pages for y'all, then we'll break up into our small groups to finish reading. I will project the book on the whiteboard or smartbook for the students to follow along. Or smartboard, excuse me. Please follow along with me on the board as I read the first few pages. I'll read the first 6 pages out loud to them. And then, now that we have read the first few pages of the book together, does anyone see any characters in the book? If so, please raise your hand. Then I'll call on 4 students and then ask if they know the characters' names. If they don't remember, I'll say that's okay and move on to the next student. Now everyone, I will have everyone grab their books and read together in a small group, taking turns of each person reading a page. I really want you to focus on what the story is about and who the characters are. If you'd like, you can take notes during the reading. I will monitor the progress of the students every 2 to 3 minutes, both individual and group performance. Once the last 3 groups have about 3 pages left, I'll give about a 5-minute warning to all the groups, and then each group will be asked to check in with me once they've finished, receiving a piece of candy for good summaries of the books. So the closure. Alright everyone, what do we think of the book? Do we like it? I will wait for a general response. Now before we head to recess, I have one little sheet for us to work on. So I would break the class into the 3 appropriate groups above, at, and below grade level. And then I will explain the instructions accordingly to each of these groups. Now everyone, let's get started on this sheet. Once you finish, please double check your answers. After that, you can draw on the back of the sheet or read your choice book until everyone's done. Now for the instructional resource and materials, so there will be a worksheet with 12 names on it, 6 being correct, 6 incorrect. Modified worksheets, one having only 3 names for them to be circled, so they can pick any of the 6, but they only need to pick 3, and then 3 of the incorrect names already be kicked out or crossed out, and then the other have a space for the students to write their 2 sentences for the above grade level. Thank you very much.